So there's a massive amount of confusion that's going on right now. And it's mainly because of Democrats not knowing where they stand and what they really want to push for the American people, our economy, and the federal government. What I can tell you is this is causing a lot of stimulus failures. There's a lot of stuff that Democrats cannot pass now. And some are saying that this is Democrats' last chance. But we're going to see what actually happens. Because according to reports, Democrats finally understand what is in stake now. And it's their futures. They understand that what they have done over the past year has been absolutely nothing. That the American people, the voters, don't care what they did back in March of 2021. They want to know what is coming for them today. Now, Democrats have also realized that inflation is not going anywhere. It's not going to do them any favors anytime soon. Inflation is going to be one of those things that actually hurts them more than it's going to help them. They also know that gas prices are still on voters' minds. Gas prices ran up, especially when this war between Russia and Ukraine started. However, gas prices started to trickle back down. They're now going back up. This is a problem. And the reason this is a problem is because Democrats do not have a plan as to how to tackle higher gas prices. I've been addressing this for the past couple of months, and it's turning into a major issue. And not only this, but President Biden's agenda, his Build Back Better Act, or his economic agenda, whatever you want to call it, it is now being seen as tougher to pass than anything else. So, why is all this so important? Well, here's the reason why. There's so much confusion. There's so much. Right now, what we are seeing is a big bag of mixed messages about what's eventually going to pass. Because a lot of people have asked me in the past really few months, are we going to see the Build Back Better Act pass? The answer is no. It's not going to pass. Will we see deficit reduction? Possibly. Will we see a climate and social spending package coupled with deficit reduction? Yeah, most likely. That's probably what's going to be on the table. But here's the thing. Either way, deficit reduction and fighting inflation is what many key senators say is going to be the core of any bill. It's going to be deficit reduction and fighting inflation. So how do you do those things? The first thing for deficit reduction is you have to come up with new tax revenue. This is where, taxing billionaires, multimillionaires, large corporations. This is where this comes in. This is where this is all, kind of kicking in. But what's so interesting about what Democrats are proposing or planning is that nobody's proposing anything. Nothing. They're all talking about it. They're saying, yeah, I'm working with Senator Joe Manchin. I'm discussing it with Senator so-and-so. But there's really no proposals. Now, here's another interesting thing that came out just today is that Senator Bernie Sanders, he stated that he believes Democrats' strategy for handling Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema were an absolute political failure. Now, I've been saying this for a while. If Democrats cannot get Senator Joe Manchin, Senator Kyrsten Sinema on board and pass something, they are going to be absolutely destroyed in the midterm elections. And many of you have said, that's perfectly fine with you guys because guess what? Democrats are doing absolutely nothing right now, so why would we vote them back in to see another 2 years of just chaos and misery? Well, it makes sense. Now, Senator Bernie Sanders also made it very clear that Democrats should have changed their approach amid a razor-thin majority. It's a 50-50 split. The only reason they have a majority is because Vice President Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote. She would be the 51st vote. Now, right now, the message that Democrats have isn't extremely clear. This is what's causing a lot of voters to side with Republicans because it makes it hard for a voter to side with what they're doing when they have no clue what it is they're actually doing. This is why when President Biden went out and started talking last week, and he came to Seattle, he went to Portland, he went to a bunch of places over on the East Coast, and he went to talk about what he has done, what Democrats have done, and their victories over the past year. But again, voters don't care. But let me know your thoughts. Do you care about what Democrats have done over the past year, or do you care more about what they could potentially do moving forward? Let me know down in the comment section below. Now, here's something else that happened today. President Biden, he announced that he will be asking Congress for an additional $33 billion to help fund Ukraine. He also stated that this funding is essential to prevent Russia from invading over the next handful of months, about 5 months. But what I thought was very interesting about the size of the funding request is that President Biden is asking for $33 billion. Ukraine asked for $2 billion. So 31 versus 2. Or 33 versus 2. That's a $31 billion difference. If I can do my math right, which I can't count on fingers. Now, that's a huge difference. And it makes me wonder, what is this additional money going to? Right? What's it going to? And again, it's what's it going to be spent on? Because in addition to the new funding, which we know, Ukraine could use it. It would really help them potentially push Russia out. But Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, he's made it very clear that any country whatsoever that provides strategic aid to Ukraine will be met with a lightning fast response. So we're going to see what happens there. Hopefully it's nothing bad, but again, we never know. But here's how the funding, according to the Biden administration, would be broken down. It would be broken down as follows. $20+ billion would go to weapons, ammunition, and military assistance. $8.5 billion would go to direct economic assistance, and the other $3 billion would go to humanitarian aid. That's what's being discussed. Now, this is what President Biden had to say about additional funding, and I quote, "We need this bill to support Ukraine in its fight to freedom. The cost of this fight, it's not cheap, but caving to aggression is going to be more costly." Now, here's what I want to bring up. He says caving to aggression is going to be more costly. Now, it makes sense, because if we continue to let Russia invade Ukraine, and let's say they take over, the problem is then we don't have an issue with Ukraine. Now we have an issue with Russia, who now controls what used to be Ukraine. Now, that could be very, very detrimental to not just the United States, but to Europe as well. And what I talked about earlier on today was, why is it the U.S., the one that is always jumping in, trying to fight battles for somebody else, provide them with money and weapons and all this other stuff, when there's so many other countries out there that are probably in a much better spot financially than the U.S., but yet it's us that continues to bail out these countries. Now, I'm all for helping out Ukraine. I'm all for helping out other countries, but at the same time, what experts are telling us and what multiple economists are telling us is we cannot afford this. We cannot afford to continue to fight for somebody else, but at the same time, other economists say we can't afford not to help either. So, who knows where we're going from here, but what I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. As we get more information and new updates, I will fill you in on what's going on. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.